It's really 3. So, we're sitting there. They finally say, okay, we're going to send a county money from one side of the road. We're going to send one from the other side. And they'll meet you there. How long did it take them to get here? 45 minutes?
45.
About 30 minutes went by. Meanwhile, I'm in here talking to the fucking owl like he's my best friend. And Cammy can be my voucher for that one. I'm like, come on, dude. Please, you know, this would be so much easier on us. I could put you in a good position. You would be more comfortable. I'd be more comfortable. I'd be in a better position. Blah, blah, blah. Well, as it turns out, he needed something to hang on to. During this time, I managed to pry one set of talents off basically these 2 fingers. Because he was embedded in these, holding these together. That hurt. Hey. Yeah, he fucked me up. I'm a pussy. I'll be first one to admit I am what I eat. But, you know you love me. So, I get that, and I'm like, quick, get me something. Why? Because all you see is 3 little talents, or 4, going like this, like, I need something. And I know what that something is. And I don't want to be a part of that something because it fucking hurts. So she was smart. She got the little squeaky dog toy. And that was good at first. But he figured something out. That was not me. And you know how we know he figured this out? Because he just went, bam. And we try and put it back in there. And he'd squeeze it once, and then he'd let go. Which he would not do if it was my fingers. So he may have been hit by a semi, dragged by this fucking giant to this fucking unknown cavern with lights. But he wasn't even fucking dragged. He volunteered for that ride. And he's in shock and everything, but yet he knows what my fingers are. And he knows he doesn't have... So I'm thinking. Finally the sheriff shows up. He's like, well, what seems to be a problem? I'm like, well... Kind of held up the bird like this. He goes, yeah, it's like he's cute. You know, he is. I named him Snowflake, and then I'm going to name him last name Dastardly. And it's a joke behind that in the emergency room. I'm not going to get into all that part. I'm just going to say they use needles this fucking big to go into my hips to give me Novocaine and what's the name of the other one? You got to remember because I'm allergic to it now. Because this medication, it's an antibiotic, but it burns when they inject it. They put a shot in each fucking leg. And I was like, oh, this ain't too, ow, but it's burning. And they go, oh, by the way, that's what it does. That's why we give you Novocaine. Fucking thanks. They gave me a tetanus, so I'm good to forget that one again because I know it was at Boys Ranch. It was my last one. That's what I remember. And then...
You jumped to the hospital.
Oh, my bad. I skipped a whole chapter. Kind of like that movie, Despicable Me, we got. So the sheriff's there, and he's like, well, can you hold on to him? And I'm like, what did I say? Oh. I said, well, yeah, I think me and him have grown quite attached to each other. I don't think we're going anywhere. I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, I'll keep him here, just don't kill him right now. I can deal with this until we know. So, he goes back to the back and he disappears for like 5-10 minutes. You know, and he comes back. He's like, well, I got wildlife on their way, game warden, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's cool. He's like, well, you need an ambulance? I'm like, fuck no, I'm from Texas. I'll rinse it off some water and rags. And I think that's a practice I will stick to from now on. I don't care if they're foaming at the mouth. Because he's like, well, and Cammy and him got into each ear, but yet we're talking around me at the same time. It's weird. And only a woman can pull that off. Only a married woman, really. But, yeah, you can be sitting on their lap, or they can be sitting on yours, and it's like, what, you know, Vance, yeah, I think she said you really should, but it boiled down to he really should. It's that woman double talk without you knowing type shit. You know, it's like 10 minutes later, oh, she was talking about me. not to me. So he calls an ambulance. So we're there about another, 20 minutes before the game warden shows up. This whole time, I'm like, trying to calm him. Which I know petting him was probably counterproductive, but it was the only fucking payback I could think of. Or he jumped onto that. And I did not. Oh, look at my new best friend. No. We looked each other straight in the eye. Well, my two eyes, his one eye. They're beautiful creatures, amazing to look into. And I was talking to him. Hey, Snowflake, this would be really cool. Blah, blah, blah. Finally, a game warden shows up. And they start coming around the right-hand side of the truck. Am I missing anything?
No.
Cammy's been taking pictures, mine and her phones. I did request a couple. And she started making comments too, but they were comical. And I antagonized them. And so finally, game warden shows up. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. We had it wrapped up in a blanket. Well, I opened up that door, and I guess he saw freedom because he tried to get away. Which luckily he let go of this. And luckily it did not hurt until after I had him in there. But I ended up having to hold those little bastards like that, and I carried them to that fucking game warden's truck like this. And the reason I started carrying them like this instead of just holding them in a little ball is because I know what those talons can do. And you can't see them from where you're at. Those fucking talons are they're like this big.
Bigger.
Oh, well, second hand, that big?
They're about 2 inches.
About 2 inches fucking thick. Big, not thick. 2 inches fucking big. You saw maybe a quarter inch through my fingers. And it, fucking hurt. But I manned it up pretty good. I didn't bitch out once, really. Aside from, please let go, please let go. And, eventually my thumb went numb because of the Kung Fu grip. I've already wasted 7 minutes. Can you believe this shit? So he shows up, and he starts going like this towards my stomach, and I'm not having that, so I carry him like this. He'll fall back asleep. I carry him by his legs. Well, I get him in there and all that. The game warden's like, can I see your license? Driver's license? And he goes, well, yeah, your driver's license. What do you need my driver's license for? I need your name and all that. Why? Well, you say this, but, it looks awfully funny when you have an owl hanging off your hand. I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. I was the one laughing about it. So, he starts taking my name and shit. And then, he fucking comes and gives me my license. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So you tell me that you may it's illegal to try and nurse those back together. Nurse them well again. I'm like, well, I didn't want to do that. Oh, you didn't try and take him to your cab at all? Like, not until he was attached. I'm not going to sit there and freeze my ass to death waiting on you. And I'm like, no. Well, that's just awfully funny. You sure you didn't? No, I have 2 dogs that are addicted to anything with fucking feathers. They will take ass beatings out the ass to get a chicken, bird. They'd fuck each other up. Cammy'd be the other beat to it. What the fuck you doing in here with that gross ass thing? The only thing that saved it from being in here that time was it was attached to the other part. So, 3rd installment. I can make the number 3 on video. But if you look right, you can't. I really can't. So, be right back. Say bye. She said it. She's just shy.